We often hold a romantic idea of international travel, that you can just grab your passport, pack a bag, and head to the airport. But for most destinations, that simplicity has been replaced by a much more complex administrative reality. While your physical passport is still your primary identification, it now functions as a key to a global network of databases. When an agent scans that booklet, they are checking for real-time compliance with dozens of strict automated entry roles. This chart shows the scale of the problem. According to the International Air Transportation Association, over 60,000 people are turned back at immigration or denied boarding every year. The most common reasons are expired passport validity, missing visas, or missing peripheral documents. If you hit one of these database red flags, the financial and emotional fallout is immediate. You lose the cost of the flights, the hotel deposits, and the itinerary you spent months planning. This creates a direct trade-off for every traveler. You can invest the preparation time now, or you can face significant travel friction later. To avoid that friction, we're going to build a documentation strategy that ensures you are compliant before you leave, and then look at how to optimize your re-entry into the US. Investing a few hours into targeted administrative work weeks before departure is the only way to ensure a seamless and predictable experience at the border. The absolute baseline requirement for any international trip is a valid passport. However, most countries enforce what is known as the 6-month validity rule. They require your passport to remain valid for at least half a year beyond your planned date of return. This rule often forces travelers to renew their passports early, sacrificing several months of your old passport's term, and you pay the $130 renewal fee ahead of schedule to guarantee you are not denied entry. Even with a valid passport, many countries now require an electronic travel authorization, or ETA, before you are allowed to board a flight. You must proactively check databases like Sherpa or IATA's Timatic 72 hours before your flight to see if an authorization is required for your specific destination. For example, the ETIAS system is scheduled to launch in Europe in 2026. Once active, travelers will need this digital approval linked to their passport before they can even check in for their flight. These authorizations add a small cost, usually between $10 and $50, and they require you to navigate various foreign government portals well before your trip begins. While your physical passport remains your foundational legal document, it is the digital ETA that often grants the actual permission to enter the country. Beyond standard visas, there are situational hurdles that apply to specific profiles, like families, patients, or those planning to drive abroad. If you are a single parent or traveling with children who aren't your own, you generally need a notarized letter of consent from the other parents. This is a strict requirement to prevent suspicion of international child abduction. If you have medical conditions, you must carry formal doctor's notes and keep all prescription medications in their original labeled packaging to avoid issues with customs agents. And if you plan to get behind the wheel, an international driving permit is often required to legally rent a car or avoid heavy fines during a traffic stop. This level of preparation involves significant upfront effort, requiring you to coordinate with doctors, notaries, and external agencies weeks before your departure date. For these travelers, these situational documents serve as a non-negotiable insurance policy against detainment or the confiscation of essential items. Even with perfect preparation, you have to plan for a worst-case scenario, losing your documents while you are in a foreign country. This is where the State Department's Smart Travel Enrollment Program, or STEP, becomes vital. It allows the government to push automated crisis alerts directly to you based on your destination. Being enrolled in STEP also makes it much easier for a local U.S. embassy to verify your identity and expedite the replacement of a lost or stolen passport. You should also maintain physical redundancy by carrying printed copies of your passport and itinerary stored separately from your original documents. For digital redundancy, upload high-resolution scans of everything to a secure cloud folder that you can access from any device. This protocol adds about 15 minutes of tedious scanning and data entry to your pre-trip checklist. While it may feel unnecessary when things are going well, these redundancies are your only lifeline back to the United States if physical documents disappear. Your documentation strategy shouldn't end when you leave. You also have to consider the friction of returning to the U.S. through massive customs checkpoints. This matrix compares the return on investment for the 3 primary re-entry methods: standard customs, mobile passport control, and global entry. Global entry has the highest barrier to entry. It requires a $100 fee and a frictional, months-long application and interview process. However, it allows you to bypass standard lines entirely, which provides a massive return for frequent international flyers. A faster alternative for most people is the free mobile passport control app. It requires no upfront cost and no interview. By submitting your info through the app, you get access to a dedicated, much shorter line, providing a high level of efficiency for very little effort. For the casual tourist taking one trip a year, your strategy should focus on the 6-month passport rule, checking the ETA databases, and using the free MPC app. If you are traveling with family or medical needs, you must plan for the extra time needed to secure notarized letters and medical records. And if you want the most frictionless experience possible, commit to global entry, enroll in STEP, and maintain secure cloud backups of all documents. Handling this administrative friction at your desk, weeks before you leave, is the only way to ensure your international trip actually goes according to plan.